Maglang in the previous episode. Somewhere in the universe there is a special planet with unusual countries, one of which is the Kingdom of Magic Languages, where all the royal nobility and retinue are parts of speech, and words are living actors of the language theaters. King Numeral is retiring. Queen Adverb thinks it's great. Words and other wealth in the kingdom are being counted in the treasury. King Murlon the Dark plans to carry out the abduction of the millennium. Maglang, the Kingdom of Magic Languages. Maglang, Королівство Чарівних мов. In the Kingdom of Magic Languages, it has become fashionable to call everything in language topics. As before there was a fashion for colors and pictures, now everything was related to the terms of the science philology. Crowned persons were called the main parts of speech: verb, pronoun, noun, adjective, numeral, adverb. And the heads of the special services took the names of the official parts of the language. Miss Particle was the head of the service of important trifles, and not only, because she, like a real woman, could change any word on the contrary, only by adding her favorite word not. And the king is not the king anymore, here is not here, there is not there. And yet our particle was very fond of adding a special touch to a sentence. Only the truth, because I just need the truth. Particles could almost always be removed from a sentence, no violating its meaning. For example, only the truth, because I just need the truth. The truth, I only need the truth. It's clear about the meaning, but a little less emotion in the sentence. Even a favorite word of Miss Particle not is often can be replaced. Not truth, lie. So particles seem to be shades parts of other words, but usually are written separately. Mr. Conjunction has a noble mission to combine words, sometimes also adding a special shade. Day and night, white and black, beautiful but expensive. You can remove conjunctions words from a sentence, the meaning will remain clear. Conjunctions could be replaced with commas, but the beauty and fluency of the sentence will be reduced. So our Mr. Conjunction's work exists always, and is pleasant and necessary. Types of conjunctions, as well as types of macrame notes, could be of different complexity. There are simple, complex, and compound conjunctions. Simple just for quickly connecting several pieces of a sentence together, and but. Complex, formed from other parts of speech. Compound, made of two or more words, because of that, so that, in spite of that. Little words belonging to the service part of speech often replace each other. Sometimes it's difficult to answer exactly what is the word, particle, conjunction, or preposition, especially when they look the same. Even the color of Miss Particle, Mr. Conjunction, and Mr. Preposition are very similar. That's shades of chocolate. The emblem of the service of important trifles is a chocolate bar. Mr. Preposition is responsible for location in space and time, and also some other things. It expresses the dependence of nouns, adjectives, numerals, pronouns, and other words in a sentence. With other parts of speech can indicate the object of the action, a gift for the prince, a song about life. If you remove prepositions from the sentence, the general meaning will be difficult to understand. Mr. Preposition has the most work among the management of the service of important trifles. It refines the details as they come together. Other words indicate the direction. Go to the sea, it's growing near a well. The reason, he sang for joy. The goal, together for work. Time, live until tomorrow. The preposition's work is not only decoration of the text, but important information about words in a sentence. Preposition's best friend is Mr. Chameleon Multicolored. They work together making cases, because it's often impossible to create cases without prepositions, especially the local case, which is responsible for a location. In the forest, on the hill. Other cases as well sometimes need help of prepositions to express the meaning of a sentence correctly. Service parts of a language usually do not change. Only sometimes spelling of pronunciation may be changed for melodiousness or beauty or both options. For example, I, y, v, u, z, z. In different languages, beauty and melodiousness are special. There are unique features. But the first language of the Kingdom of Magic Languages is the most similar to Ukrainian. Particle and conjunction cooperate with all cases, including the star nominative case. Sun and moon, not the sun but the moon. Words sun and moon are here in the nominative case, and words of Miss Particle and Mr. Conjunction as if decorating mise-en-scène, in which two stars of the language theater, sun and moon, take part. Mr. Preposition does not work with the nominative case. Preposition works with all cases except nominative and vocative. Genitive case has the most varieties of prepositions around it, although it can be without any prepositions. For example, without, near, from, for, to, before, after, against, for, among. In general, genitive case after nominative is most often used in Ukrainian and the official language of the kingdom. Dative case is not only for showing that someone gives or presents to someone. To give to the king, queen, it is possible to say it without prepositions in Ukrainian, but there are a few long and complex prepositions that require the dative case. For example, because of, against, following, in contrary, in pursuit of, across, against. Accusative case is often used without a preposition, especially when you have to find, blame, love or hate. Find the enemy, blame the traitor, love the king, hate Murlong. But there are cases when prepositions help. Examples: over, under, before, outside, behind, on, between, about, on. And when it's necessary to tell about. This is also a very popular case in the kingdom. Instrumental case in Ukrainian and in the first language of the kingdom is the most creative case. Draw with paints, decorate with flowers, admire the masterpiece, often does without help of preposition, but there are times when they are necessary. The same prepositions can be in tandem with local or accusative case. For example, over, under, before, outside, with, behind, between. Local case speaks for itself. He is responsible for a location, and it's impossible without a preposition specifying the place or location. In the palace, on the roof, at the yard, through the garden. Not all places are possible to be expressed in the local case. That was done specifically to confuse the Tsar Murlon, but here are prepositions for local case. В, у, на, при, по. Vocative case also does without prepositions, just like the nominative. They are even friends. In some languages, there is no vocative case to call someone or to address to someone. Vocative case in many languages is replaced by nominative. Maximum the exclamation "Oh" should be added. Oh God, oh princess. It's done occasionally to emphasize the solemnity of the moment. At first glance, the service of important trifles is only confused and complicated the use of the newborn Maglang language. because there were many rules. For example, how, where, and why to insert small service words. Later, people of the kingdom understood all the advantages. Learning languages trained brains and encrypted information for enemies. So complexity and perfection became fashionable. Throughout all the history of the kingdom, the tsardom of ignorance was the greatest enemy. King Murlon the Dark and his ancestors led similar wild and insolent policy of endless wars, robberies, and humiliations of neighboring states. In the tsardom, all the colors of the citizens were dark shades of khaki, the color of war and destruction. That's why in Maglang people were always on guard and waiting for disaster from the side of the crazy neighbors. When Murlon the Dark realized that he can't capture by military means the kingdom of magic languages and other colored kingdoms that were allies of Maglang, he decided to go another way. Even though he was stupid and so were all his advisors, but meanness and devilry were enough for them. So when the fame of living words came to Murlon, they began to entice them into traps on the borders. The traps were primitive. The bait was a piece of glory, on which words pecked like children on bright toys. Neighbors have stolen a lot of other people's glory and produced electricity and alcohol from it, using technologies also stolen. The service of important trifles quickly exposed the traps and tricks of ignorant neighbors. Nevertheless, some living words every day fell into Murlon's raking paws. The further fate of living words that fell into captivity was sad. In the tsardom of ignorance, the actors of the language theaters were tortured. Murlon's myrmidons first learned everything about a word. Information about relatives, friends, enemies, part of the
Королівстві є
speech,
три друга,
a special
що не дуже
dossier
схожі
was
один на
created.
одного. Королівський
Then they
блазень
mocked,
вигук,
changed the
охоронець
meaning,
артикль,
inserted
придворний
additional
привид
evil
хто
meaning,
зна. Вони
conducted cruel
опікуються тими
experiments.
словами, що відбилися від
A
зграї
large
основних
factory
та
was
службових
created
частин
for
мови.
twisting words and creating
be
new evil,
continued.
abusive
Далі
words.
буде.
It was a weapon, a new weapon of Tsar Murlon. Some changed words gradually began to return to the kingdom of magic languages. They were no longer happy and joyful words that filled Maglang during the reign of the king Verb. They became dangerous spies and enemies. But any weapon can be countered. An antidote can be found for any poison. Royal service of important trifles tirelessly worked on this issue. So changed, poisoned, and frightened words began to be detected and treated from the enemy's dope until they inflicted disaster. It was like the eternal struggle between good and evil, and it continues to this day.
Maglang, in the next episode.
There are three friends in the kingdom, not too much similar to each other. The court clown exclamation, bodyguard article, court ghost who knows. They take care of words that left behind the flock of the main and service parts of speech.
To be continued. Далі буде.